I was living with his mother when I went back to try to get my high school diploma. This is the main reason why I'm here now, because they kicked me out a week before Christmas.
You can't tell her to close her mouth.
And she does need to shut up.
Did you go anywhere else is the question?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Where did you go?
I went to a friend's house.
Friend you've ever been intimate with?
Not at that time, no.
At what time?
After I got into a relationship with him, after Herberto left.
Were you dating this man and Mr. Hodges at the same time?
No, Your Honor.
So why is this man saying this? He's giving all these specific details to Miss Blevins.
He was at the hospital when Lillian was born. Yes, I was with him at that time.
Ms. Christian's hopes were beyond high in this episode. She wanted nothing other than to prove to the defendant that she was his daughter. She hoped to gain closure if the results came out in her favor, but it was a long stretch. Why? Mr. Christian believed there was no need for a DNA test. His mind was already made up. Here's how it all started.
Miss Christian, you opened your case hoping the court will grant you a paternity test so you can prove to the defendant that he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that up until recently, you were told that Mr. Christian is your father, and you need the test to gain closure. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is a major no right from the start, because Ms. Christian already has his last name. If she had his last name, why exactly is he denying her? Well, Judge Lauren has to listen to everyone's side of the story before the DNA test can be done, so let's listen away.
I'll start with you, Miss Christian. Why should the court grant this DNA test?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I have his last name. So how can I not be his child if I still have his last name?
Tell the court how this has impacted your life.
I mean, I feel alone. I don't have any dad side of the family. I never had a father in my life. How can you say you're not my father when you've been in and out of my life since I was little and I still carry your last name? I don't get that.
Whatever Ms. Christian's feelings were, they didn't matter to him. He stood on his claim, saying he knew she wasn't his daughter. Judge Lauren then had to ask him why he was so sure, even though he was in and out of her life while she was growing up. Could there be a mystery behind his denying Ms. Christian?
But you never really committed to the father-daughter relationship. Why?
Well, her mother and I had a lifestyle that we lived that was kind of contrary. I was in the streets. We were both in the streets, but...
And why does that make you emotional, sir?
Because me and her mother were like Bonnie and Clyde.
Could that be enough reason to doubt that she might be his daughter? I mean, he claimed he and her mother were like Bonnie and Clyde, so what's making him doubt? But here's the twist to the story. Mr. Christian is the only one who has doubts. The rest of his family accepts Ms. Christian as his daughter.
You know this woman, she only been in his life for 3 years. I'm 26 years old. What can you say about this situation? I'm the innocent person in this situation. You wanna sit there and cry and you a grown man? And I've been going through all this? I'm the innocent person. I got a baby on the way.
Calm down.
I need to know who my family is.
You're right.
Oh boy, I bet you didn't see that coming. Thank Jesus her aunt was in the courtroom. Her aunt claimed that, at first, he couldn't keep his eyes off Ms. Christian. He was always taking care of her. And then boom, the story changed. He got married to another woman, and he is no longer the loving father he used to be.
And first of all, he was claiming her, taking care of her, doing stuff for her. So you're not claiming her because you got a new wife?
So hold on, you're
you.
saying that when Miss Christian was born, Mr. Christian was taking care of her like she was his child?
Exactly what I'm saying, Your
Accepting
Honor.
her?
Basically
Yes.
like a deadbeat father.
Well, there's no denying the obvious. Ms. Christian is quite upset about the whole situation. Trust me, if you were in her position, I'm sure you'd hold a grudge too. Moving on, her aunt drops a truth bomb. She claims that all the while her daughter was looking for her father, he was busy messing with other women. Ain't that a surprise?
I have always, because I know a lot, I know too much, and I kept stuff from her. I didn't want her to know stuff. It was stuff that, because I'm auntie, so I protected her from all that. But I knew where he was at. He was out there busy doing other things. So he didn't have no time for no kid.
I was living with his mother when I went back to try to get my high school diploma.
Exactly.
Suppose that was a boxing ring. I'm sure Ms. Christian and her aunt would have knocked out Mr. Christian's wife's teeth. They didn't want her in their business one bit. Now the judge asks Mr. Christian if he remembers spending any time with Ms. Christian while she was a kid. Here's what he had to say.
I have problems with my memory right now because of my past history. I think I've suppressed a lot of memories, but I do remember times where her mother would call me and I would come try to bond with her, but I never felt a connection or a bond, even in those attempts.
At At least his sense of being a father didn't fade away from his memory. Was it because he didn't grow up with a father too? Who knows? Anyway, Mr. Christian goes on to play the blame game and says they are in the entire situation because of Ms. Christian's mother. Was she going to let him talk about her mother like that?
And I
Be
don't know where
addressing
I
your
come
mother.
from.
You should be addressing your mother.
Hold
It's
on.
about you and my mother because you as
Well,
a
I'm
grown
here.
man, you as
I'm
a,
here. Where's
you
your
as
mother?
a responsible person, James. If you feel like I'm not yours,
need
don't
to be
keep
here.
coming in and out my life confusing me.
I'm here.
So
Need
wait,
this.
I need a blood test today.
Well, you finna get one.
Another truth bomb hits the grounds of the courtroom. Mr. Christian was meant to take a blood test and he bailed? Tell me if he couldn't look any guiltier. He claimed he did take a blood test, and when the results came out, it revealed that Ms. Christian was not his daughter.
I took a blood test and the test came back 99.8% that me and her mother didn't possess the proper gene in order to create Precious.
wait, where did you
Right.
see those results?
They sent it to me in the mail and I wish I had kept it.
Judge Lauren sure wasn't buying his story. She approved them getting a DNA test done, and the results are in. Boy, am I ready to hear the verdict. I hope you're as excited as I am because here it comes.
Mr. Christian, you are not the father.
Oh, we glad too.
Miss Matthews, just let it breathe.
Cause she,
Just give her a minute to process it.
I know, but she over there clapping. It ain't funny.
I'll punch her right.
No.
Calm down, cause I got.
Who was clapping?
She was clapping. She clapping and laughing like it's funny.
I have not laughed.
Ms. Hall was under some kind of delusion in the courtroom. She left the defendant and started to live with another man during the week of her conception, but she is beyond certain that Mr. Beaufort is the father of her child. Mr. Beaufort, on the other hand, claimed Ms. Hall cheated on him, but he doesn't see her as trustworthy anymore.
Now, Ms. Hall, you claim that although you left the defendant and began living with another man the very same week your daughter was conceived, Mr. Beaufort is still her biological father.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, now furthermore, you say that you and Mr. Beaufort have now recently reunited and you hope to prove paternity so he'll marry you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
The judge started with Mr. Beaufort, who was about to take the courtroom down memory lane, and explain why he had doubts about being the father of the baby. His suspicions of her cheating started when he had a family get-together at Ms. Hall's parents' house.
Came over, they're gonna cook. So
Okay.
I'm outside with her father. We're out there talking about what are we gonna do for New Year's, the resolutions, how we wanna change things or make things better. And all of a sudden he's like, let's go in and grab something to eat. So I'm going in to get something to eat or whatever. And I'm like, where's Mary? Her sister's like, oh, she's gone. She went to go get some milk. She went to go get milk? What's milk for? We got food and drinks, everything.
Well, Ms. Hall did let the cat out of the bag. On New Year's Eve, when she was supposed to be with her family, she claimed she went to get some milk for her sister's baby. Was that true? Oh, you can bet it wasn't. She went to see one of her male friends for over an hour and a half.
I proceed.
Hold on. Ms. Hall, did you go anywhere else is the question.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Where did you go?
I went to a friend's house.
A
I was
male
only-
friend or a female
It was a
friend?
male friend, Your Honor, and I was only there for 10 minutes.
Did you tell Mr. Beaufort that you were gonna go by this male friend's house on New Year's Eve?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Mr. Beaufort believed the man she went to see was someone she had been sleeping with while they were in a relationship. Well, Ms. Hall had some truth bombs to drop. She claimed the reason he was calling her a cheat was because throughout their relationship, all he did was cheat on her with several women.
I'm already in my head like, this ain't right.
The reason why he's accusing me of cheating is because he cheats. He's been cheating throughout the whole relationship. I go through his phone, I find text messages to other girls, I find emails that he sent women on Craigslist for one-night stands. I've seen pictures in his phone of women in thongs.
Oh, trust me, there was a lot of truth to be told in that courtroom. In trying to defend himself, he claimed that when she went through his phone, they only just started talking. Ms. Hall, on the other hand, claimed she was happy she went through his phone. Here's the reason for her excitement.
Weeks or something, I wake up.
If I didn't, I wouldn't have known he still had a girlfriend
Oh, so, okay, he still had a girlfriend when?
when I first met him.
So, bottom line is you all were in a relationship and you accuse him of cheating and now he's accusing you of cheating.
Right.
After he found out that she had another man on her menu, he decided to disappear. He claimed he didn't want anything to do with her. But a while after he disappeared, one of his family members called him and said Ms. Hall moved another guy into her house just a week after they split up.
You already did what you did. You got disappeared, so let me disappear.
And then what happened?
A week later, I got a lot of family in Canada. She must think she invincible or something. They called me like, oh, she got another dude. He's staying at the house now around your son and stuff. So I'm like, at work, like, wow. You would move somebody in the bed and stuff a week later and you just now met the dude and have him around my son?
It was getting a little difficult to believe the things that Ms. Hall was telling the judge. She admitted that a guy actually moved into her house and was with her for an entire month. She was firm on the fact that they didn't have any kind of sexual relationship, but was that true?
And I had already found out I was pregnant the beginning of February.
So you're saying to this court, a grown man moved into the house after Mr. Buford left, and you all didn't sleep together for an entire month?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Mr. Beaufort came prepared, trust me. He wanted to prove to the court so badly that the child was not his. He brought a calendar revealing the period during which he and Ms. Hall were intimate, and also the period she was sleeping with the other guy.
All right, the 31st. That was the 31st when I was over at her family house. She disappeared.
New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Okay.
She disappeared that night for that hour and a half. Later on that night, after 1 o'clock, it's January 1st, we slept together that one night.
Okay.
The rest of that time, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, she was seeing him, but he was already moved in by the 6th and 7th, 8th, and she was probably sleeping with him then.
Now, Miss Hall found out she was pregnant, and when she did, she reached out to Mr. Beaufort. His mind was already made up that he was not the father of her baby, so he told her on the spot that there was no way he was going to accept the baby.
After this incident right here, after everybody telling me what's going on, and this guy over my house, she called me at work a month later talking about, oh, I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, what you telling me for? This dude at the house already or whatever. She like, where's your baby? I'm like, how you sure or whatever? She's like.
Their lies and deception had gone on for way too long, and the judge was tired of hearing these two grown-ups lie through their teeth. The results are in, and now we will know who has been lying all this time.
Mr. Buford, you are her father.
And y'all owe my baby an apology.
I'm glad that I am the father. If I've been there that whole time and stuff, I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
So you're happy?
Yeah.
And Ms. Hall, listen, you're lucky today, because the best thing about this is that only you know.
Right.
But as the court, I can only caution you with your smirk. I think you should make better choices.
Let's just say a lot was hanging on the results from the DNA test in this episode. Mr. Hodges was in court with his mother to prove that he couldn't be the father of Ms. Willard's 1-month-old baby, and he had proof to back him up. Ms. Willard was also in the courtroom with her mother, and they wanted to prove that they were 1,000% sure the baby belonged to Mr. Hodges.
Mr. Hodges, you and your mom opened your case today because you both say the defendant is a liar and a cheater. You don't believe you fathered her 1-month-old daughter, Lillian Willard, and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hodges wasn't just upset that there was a possibility the baby could not be his. He was quite upset that the woman he believed to be the love of his life was a pathological liar, and she would cheat on him with several guys on different occasions. But as you would expect, Ms. Willard denied his accusation and claimed he was wrongly accusing her.
She cheated on me, and I caught her with multiple guys. She had one hidden in the room, and whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Now, Mr. Hodges was asked what kind of relationship he had with Ms. Willard and how they ended up becoming a couple. His answer was nothing short of shocking. He claimed he met her after she had a one-night stand with one of Mr. Hodges' relatives.
I met him through a family member of his.
She had one night stand with him, and I was there to comfort her, and we talked for a week or so. And
Oh, you met her after she had a one-night stand with another guy, and then she cried on your shoulder, and then you and she got together.
yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Blevins, I understand that you are the one who pushed your son to open this case.
Mr. Hodges was initially hesitant to drag Ms. Willard's ass to court to determine if he was the real father of her child. They weren't just throwing accusations. Trust me, they had caught her in the act more than once. To make things even worse, Mr. Hodges and Ms. Willard were engaged, but before that, she had already been married and Mr. Hodges had no idea.
The other guy in your bedroom when Mr.
did.
Hodges came?
They had broke up
So why you have to hide anybody?
because she didn't want him to know. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to start no trouble because Harley's got a temper.
Well, we was engaged.
It was my understanding they had broke up.
So were you engaged or were you broken up?
We was engaged.
Yeah, we were engaged.
So you were engaged, Miss Willard.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it was time to throw in the evidence, and Mr. Hodges' mom came well prepared. Mr. Hodges' mom had some mind-blowing texts that revealed Ms. Willard's atrocities. It was no joke in the courtroom. Trust me, all hands were pointing to Ms. Willard, because it was obvious she was married while in a committed relationship with Mr. Hodges.
Do you have those messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me have those. Jerome, can you please bring me those messages? Thank you. Ms. Blevins says, I do understand my son was engaged to her and caught her cheating. The other man says, we got together on June 2nd of last year. Ms. Blevins, you say, let me check the dates, give me a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
If there was one thing Ms. Willard was very good at, it was the fact that she sure knew how to hide things from Mr. Hodges. First, she didn't disclose the fact that she was married before they started dating. Secondly, she refused to tell him that she was cheating on him with another guy, and now she had a child before her current baby, and she still didn't mention it to Mr. Hodges.
So she hid that she had a husband before she met you, and you were engaged to her when she really already had a husband. She hid that she had had a child, and she also hid a man in her mother's house when you came over.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Hodges, take me to the day you found out Miss Willard was pregnant.
She called me and she said that she was 8 months pregnant and...
8 months?
Yes.
Everyone in the courtroom could see why Mr. Hodges said he was very hurt when the court session initially started. Ms. Willard was actually a pathological liar, and the lies had gone on for just too long. Judge Lauren was no longer going easy on her. It was high time she started telling the truth and stopped playing with everyone's emotions.
This is too much lying.
I know.
This is just too much lying. Now, I heard about 5 lies already. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
Okay, he's married now, and I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person. That's it.
Well, there's no going back now. The situation is just very messed up, but the truth is about to be unleashed. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. All that was left was for the DNA results to be revealed and for this drama to come to an end. The answers lie in front of the judge.
Mr. Hodges, you are the father. We have the answer we needed, and it was actually the answer all of you wanted. You okay, honey?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I want to meet with you both in my chambers. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
When does anything ever go right in paternity court? Ms. Smethers dragged the defendant to court because she was so devastated that he was refusing to accept paternity for her child. She was confident that the results would knock some sense into him, so he would act right. Ms. Stevens didn't care about how she felt at all. She had proof that he couldn't be the father.
Ms. Smethers, you have dragged the defendant to court because you are devastated that he refuses to accept that he is your son Adrian's biological father. You claim today's DNA test results will have a dramatic impact on your future as a family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, things were not always so bad in their relationship. Ms. Smethers and Mr. Stevens had known each other for quite some time, even before they got into a romantic relationship. After the birth of their first daughter, all hell broke loose in their relationship.
Well, Your Honor, me and Mr. Stevens met when I was 16 years old. We went to GED classes together. We eventually started dating. I moved in with him. And we had our first daughter. After that, it went from good to bad. Mr. Stevens started cheating on me. I was always at home with the baby. You know, he was always out with girls.
As I said, their relationship went from bad to worse, and the worst things happened. For the first 5 years of their relationship, Mr. Stevens had been cheating on Ms. Smethers with several different women. Ms. Smethers felt betrayed, and as you would expect, she got revenge.
Necessarily, not with this woman at least.
He cheated on me for the first 5 years of our relationship. I did not step out of the relationship until right before our son was conceived.
She wants to say, like, I cheated on her for the 5 years, but, like, there'd be times when I'd text her and ask her, like, hey, where you at? Well, she's supposed to be at home, but yet she's in a different state. She was in a different state. She was not at home. She was not at home.
No,
she was in
I
Indiana.
was at home. No, I wasn't.
Now, Ms. Smethers finds out she's pregnant, and she obviously can't wait to break the news to Mr. Stevens. She tells him about the pregnancy, and he immediately becomes the happiest man on earth. But the doubts start to kick in, and things take a different turn.
What was his response?
He was happy.
You were?
Yeah, at first, yeah, I was happy. And then, like, and then the aspect is like, you know, she was pregnant, but she waited 5 months to tell me that there was a possibility that he wasn't.
Oh, so initially when you found out she was pregnant, you didn't have any
I was
issue.
excited, like, cause you know, like I found out that it was a boy, so like, you know, it was my first boy. I was excited about that.
The truth bomb drops, and the courtroom is in complete shock. After having the baby in her stomach, she sits Mr. Stevens down and tells him she cheated, and that there is a chance that the baby might not not actually belong to him. Trust me, he didn't take the news so well.
And so at 5 months, she pops up and tells you, I cheated and this may not be your child?
One of my family members and a couple of our mutual friends that we had together, they ended up coming out and telling me that she opened up to them and told them that AJ might not be mine and that she cheated on me. And
I did open up and say that I was with another man, but I never said that AJ was not his.
Their case had more juice than a juice factory. Miss Smethers claimed that she only got intimate with another guy once, but Mr. Stevens said that was a lie. He even went on to say that one of their sexual adventures happened right under his mother's roof. Would you imagine that? I would lose my mind if I were in his shoes.
The other guy that I slept with was 3 months prior to me getting pregnant.
with her and the other guy, it was more than one time. And then on top of that, it was at my mom's house, in our bedroom.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And at my parents' house. And like, I begged for them.
I admit what I did
honestly,
was
that's what
wrong.
happened.
No, that is beyond wrong.
Mr. Stevens' mind was as tight as a fist, ready to knock someone out. He didn't change his belief that he wasn't the father of the child Ms. Smethers was claiming to be his. When asked why, he went on to say there were no features of the baby that matched any of his.
But you don't believe that, Mr. Stevens.
Not one bit.
Why do you believe this other man is Adrian's biological father?
Because I don't see my side of the feature in him when it comes to it. Like, he's the lightest one.
Okay, well, you know babies come in all different skin colors. You cannot judge a baby by what color they come out,
but
or
that's
even
that's
what color
one of
they
his
are.
main
You
points.
can't judge that.
I know, that's one of his main points. That's what I'm trying to get through his head. Just because he has lighter skin doesn't mean he's not his.
There was no doubt, though. Mr. Stevens, even with his doubt, didn't want to completely turn his back on the baby. Being that there is a chance he could end up being the father, he wanted to build a bond with the child and also make sure the child had a father figure in its life. But the doubts just couldn't get out of his head.
A lot of the times, but I try not to because it messes with me. That gives me more doubt, and like I just don't want that. Like, I want me and him to have a bond. Like, I want us to be able to go fishing. I want us to be able to go hunting and do stuff together.
And that upsets you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Mr. Stevens sure couldn't shake the doubts about being the father from his mind. The judge sensed that, and the only way to calm his mind was to reveal the truth. The results are in, and I hope you paternity folks are ready for them. Here comes the truth.
Mr. Stevens, you are the father. I was happy to deliver those results to you.
Thank you.
I can see this means a lot to you.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in this moment to know you do have your son?
Right now, I'm happy.
Good.
Like,